Let the games begin.
The what? Ghosts here? Okay.
Weird.
So, the bed. We don't have a specific example of the bed, though it can be said that the China one is, we'll go there. But normally marketing can abuse the power of gamification. It's complicated, especially when targeting children. Gamification is a quite powerful tool. It messes with people's brains. So it can be used for evil, but that's part of the morals of the society. If one person chooses to use it for evil, it's not really gamification fault, it's the person's fault. Then we have the ugly. Oh, blue whale, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if in other countries also you have this
Problem.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good example.
Science up in school.
Okay.
They
So, the ugly. I don't want to give my opinion about this before you see the video, and I don't want you to be influenced by the video. But China has, I don't know if you heard about this, China has a new gamification system. For now, it's not mandatory, it's experimental, but after 2020, it will be mandatory. What they are doing is, some people, it's called Sesame's credit. Some people get credit for being a good citizen. This sounds good, right? But
Black Mirror again.
Yeah. It sounds good, but it has some problems that this video from Extra Credit talks about. But these are fears of what can happen. We don't really know if this will happen. So you can make your own mind.
Okay, so one of you recently brought this to our attention, and when we first started looking into it, we couldn't believe it. Even now, looking at this, I keep thinking that there's gotta be something about this that I just don't understand. Like, I must be reading this wrong. It's just so clearly something out of dystopian science fiction, and yet, here it is in our world, and people are actually embracing it. Apparently, China has gamified being an obedient citizen. Going under the innocuous name of Sesame Credit, China has created a score for how good a citizen you are. And that's one of the scariest things I've heard in quite a while. It's jointly run by Tencent, yes, that Tencent, the one that owns Riot Games and has a significant share in Epic and Activision Blizzard, and also the ascendant Chinese competitor to Amazon, Alibaba, hence the name Sesame. So the owners of China's largest social networks have partnered with the government to create something akin to the U.S. credit score. But instead of measuring how regularly you pay your bills, it measures how obediently you follow the party line. They dredge data from your social network, so if you post pictures of Tiananmen Square or share a link about the recent stock market collapse, your Sesame credit score goes down. Share a link from the state-sponsored news agency about how good the economy's doing, and your score goes up. But Alibaba and Tencent are also the largest online retailers in China, so Sesame Credit is also able to pull data from your purchases. If you're making purchases the state deems valuable, like work shoes or local agricultural products, your score goes up. If you import anime from Japan, though, down the score goes. And the score has real-world consequences. Like many games, Sesame Credit has tiers and levels, and having a high score gives you special benefits, like making it easier to get the paperwork you need to travel, or making it easier to get a loan. Now, currently, there are no consequences for having a low score, but there's been talk about implementing penalties once the system becomes mandatory in 2020. Penalties like slower internet speeds for low-scoring citizens, or even restricting the jobs that a low-scoring person's allowed to hold. But there's one more layer to Sesame Credit, and here's where this goes from being repulsive to downright insidious. Because this is all part of a social network, it also scans your friends. So you will lose points for having friends with low obedience scores, and it tells you this. At any point, anybody can check anyone else's score, and when you check your own score, Sesame Credit provides a handy map of your friends to show you who's dragging your score down. Have you ever had that thing where you play a game with somebody who wasn't doing very well and you've tried to change their behavior to make them do better? Or maybe after a while you just sort of stopped playing with the people who were holding you back? That's at the heart of how this system works. And it's also what makes this one of the most terrifying tools of authoritarian oppression I've ever read about. Because like mass censorship, jail time, assassinations, those are all big, messy implements for keeping a population in line. That messiness and severity foster resentment, eventually rebellion. They're expensive, they're unwieldy. In the end, those tools are impossible to maintain. But social pressure, ostracization, those things are free. They happen on their own. And as a government tool, they don't have nearly the same potential for going embarrassingly, disastrously wrong. With a system like this in place, a government doesn't even have to tell neighbor to spy on neighbor, to rat each other out. Because that's all built into a seemingly innocuous game system. The government need not step in. Re-education will be handled for them by friends, classmates, and the relatives who want to maintain a high score. And if that doesn't work, then potentially dangerous ideas still end up quarantined by the social isolation this game system causes. Express or help to spread too many radical ideas, and people will stop associating with you. And not because some jackbooted thug showed up at the door with threats, but simply because associating with somebody with those ideas will lose them all the privileges they've worked so hard to obtain. It recontextualizes obedience to an authoritarian regime. In the past, you obeyed such powers because you were afraid. Fear kept you motivated, but fear is negative. It fosters resentment. The world we're stepping into instead uses positive reinforcement to promote being subservient to the will of the regime. It's Big Brother's kinder, gentler hand. And the things that make this scary is that we've seen the efficacy of this only too well in games. You may not actually know this, but when World of Warcraft was in its early stages of development, it had an unrested penalty mechanic that started limiting experience gains for players who had played too much. And players hated it. They resented it and they complained about it every day. So, after brainstorming on this for a while, Blizzard had the idea to simply change how the mechanic was presented. Without changing any of the existing numbers or systems, they started referring to the unrested experience penalty state as normal and made it the default. And they started calling the original normal experience gain state as rested. That's all they changed, and everybody loved it. People would log on every day just to get that bonus. Positive reinforcement works wonders. But unlike World of Warcraft, which built a system just to get people to embrace meaningless grinding, Sesame Credit has built a system to get people to enjoy falling into line. Now, the system is not mandatory yet. It's opt-in right now, but it's going to be mandatory in 2020, and there's a terrible brilliance to phasing that in. The early adopters are going to be people excited about this system, people who are already patriotic and are eager for anything that'll help display that patriotism to the world. And as early adopters, they're going to talk it up. They're going to give it an air of being positive and fun. Then it will be foisted on the society as a whole. More than that, though, the early adopters are going to compete. Already, you can see hundreds of thousands of tweets displaying people's high scores or psychological motivators that we game makers deploy in scoring systems and ladders and levels, systems that we built to shape play habits and to keep people coming back. Like I said, I'm still kind of in a state of disbelief looking at this. If any of you are watching this from China, please tell me if I'm misunderstanding this thing, because I would love to be wrong about it. If not, well, I hope this episode can do some small amount to help the fight to keep such a system from becoming mandatory. For everyone in the rest of the world, I hope this helps remind us all how important it is to be aware and to be vigilant. All of these gamification techniques we've learned through making games offer incredible opportunities for making this world a better, more engaging place. But every great tool carries with it the potential for misuse. And it's on us as a community who understands this amazing new medium to do what we can to stop that. We'll see you next week. Hey everybody, just so you know, the extra credits team is going to go on.
Parece que iremos por ser Kahoot.
Agora já?
Primeiro.
Tem que começar umas testas.
Sim. Okay. I think it would. Quando é que é o intervalo?
You're not going to talk about this.
No?
No, I'm just asking.
I would like to create a little
China.
debate,
Maybe.
but I don't know. Anyone has an opinion about this? About this?
Takes a lot of data, right?
What?
Not the system they're
Yeah.
talking about, but it's only like, they only can gather anything online, and that's not like everything that people do. In that sense,
Okay.
I find it weird.
I don't know. I don't know much. I don't.
Also, like, analyzing tweets and stuff, like, there should be like some good EA in place to analyze. Is it positive message? Is it negative?
I'll tell you about a personal story. Back in 2004, I was even the positive message has a problem. I'll explain you why. Back in 2004, in an internet forum about football, all the clubs in Portugal were there, all the fans. And that forum has a point system. You wrote an article, you earned some points, but people could vote in your article, and you would get more points or less points if they voted negatively. Okay? So after some time, I've noticed that some people who took the points as something important started to change their opinions to something more neutral. They stopped having an opinion. They started to have the opinion that it was positively marked, positively taken by the community. It's like, imagine, I'm a Manchester United fan, you're an Arsenal fan, and I started to say, first, before the points, I'm saying, oh, Manchester is a better club. It's way better. And you, no, Arsenal is the better club. Then, after the points, I'll start to say, no, they're both good things, good teams. We should be friends. No, come on, you can agree with that. You'll give me points for saying that. But it's not me. It's an idea that everyone accepts. That's one of the problems of that kind of positive reinforcement. It ends different ideas. The good ideas become the ideas that are accepted by everyone. That's awful. That's awful, really. You should be able, even if I don't agree with you, you should be able to have a different idea and expose it. That's how we learn as human beings. Different opinions create discussion, create a debate, and we learn with it. Any more comments, ideas? Do you think it's possible to change this gamification experience so it can work?
What do you mean from China?
Yeah.
It can work?
No, I'm asking if it's possible to change it in some way so it can work.
I think nobody wants to be like measured or giving points, what you do, what you buy,
Yeah.
what you like. Or a friend of mine, who's a good friend, and he has 5 points, so what?
Yeah.
So you must influence him to be a good one, not
It's-
be a bad.
It's like being judged for everything that you do.
Yeah, but it's also a way of organize everything, right? So you will be a good influence, and then it will be everything will be good.
You have friends, so why I'm not good influence,
Yeah.
just friends who I.
But some
If
people,
there are points, it doesn't mean that maybe he's jealous and he doesn't want to be anymore my friend, or.
Yeah.
that's a way to think, and it's a good way to think. But there are some people who probably look at their low
score.
low score friends and say, I don't want to be friends with him anymore. Yeah.
Because
I
he's
don't
bringing
know
me
this
down.
kind of people. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know this kind of
Yeah.
No, it's because he likes burgers or I don't
Yeah.
know why Chinese things. And he's a low score, and I said no. I can't be a friend. I don't want to buy very expensive things.
I agree.
There's a lot of problems.
Also, maybe this is just for the China.
Yeah.
When we think about globalization, when they're out of their Chinese bubble,
Yeah.
for example, they are traveling abroad somewhere, but what good they are learning for them, it could not be the same for the other world.
Of course.
You know, where they are living, they have been hammering, no, this is good, so we have to do this or get the score. But if they are traveling to some other country, it may be totally different for such things, what they are learning in their own country for to be a good citizen. It may be different in other countries, so it might affect
what's acceptable there might not be here in Portugal, for example. There's another thing. They are learning how to. They are not learning. They learn how they should act, but they are not learning why. You should be nice, okay, but why? They're not explaining that. They know they earn points for being nice, but why? As soon as they learn that positive reinforcement for being nice, what happens? They stop being nice? Probably. They don't know why they should be nice without the points, right? Any ideas?
It's a very, how to say, tough
It's complicated.
love,
It's complicated.
tough love idea, right? Like the
Tough
dog.
love. Yeah.
Only by the reward.
We'll talk about Skinner's box. Clark?
One question for everyone in general, even then, and if we have like 5 minutes
Yeah.
to put a video,
Okay.
this question of being nice, I think it's quite interesting because what is the definition of being nice?
Okay.
And there is actually a video which is kind of a problem. We have a train
Dilemma.
and 2 tracks. The train is going wild.
Okay. I know.
And if you already
Yeah,
know which
I
one
know.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
And
on.
if it continue straight up, it's going to kill 5 people. You have the chance to change the train to go another way, and it will kill only one person. And this is to evaluate which one will you value most. And there is then there's another situation next to that one. Imagine the same thing, the train is going wild, but you are not in the train anymore, you are outside of the train, in front of the tracks, and there is, let's say, a really fat man right in front of you. Now, the train will kill the 5 people if it keeps going, or you can push the fat man to the tracks, and it will kill the fat man, but it will save the fat person.
Must be really fat, man.
So, depois, esta mais a chave e o vídeo é mesmo will you kill the fat man?
Okay. Search it.
É para explicar melhor.
This isn't my account, and I am searching.
Oh, come on.
Now Google knows I am searching for.
Now the FBI is like, why does he want to kill the fat man?
Okay.
É, pá, eu acho que é qualquer um deles. É o droga.
Computer.
Okay, so there is no right answer?
It's quite
The
ambiguous.
problem.
Because it's kind of moral.
Yeah.
And there is really no right answer.
There's a second part for that dilemma is, okay, in this situation, what would you think? Do I let 5 people die or 1? The logic one is I let 1 people die. But then the dilemma goes to imagine that 1 person is your brother, is something for your family, friend. What will you do then? That's the main dilemma of that.
And what if the one person is also Hitler?
Is also
What if the one person is Hitler, for example? You can go a number of ways, or if that one person is a joker, or any number of ways.
that's the main dilemma. I don't know. It's the break, right? We'll have a cat.